I totally don't regret picking this book at all.
Yeah. I'm sure you don't. Welcome to BookBurners, episode 4, American Psycho edition. Hello, everybody. My name is Lord Battora.
I'm Whispers, or Jesse.
Yeah.
Or
I'm
you. You can pick one.
Or you?
Yeah, hey, you.
Oh, hey, you. I see what you're saying. I was like, I am you.
I am you.
We did American Psycho by, who's the author?
I don't know. Bret Easton Ellis.
Yeah, so you can thank him for this.
He has other books. Did you see that? Less Than Zero and The Rules of Attraction. I can't imagine what's in any of those.
I'm sure those are also great. So, little synopsis about the book. How would you summarize this book? Like, if you were to just say, what's the book about? I mean, the title is a little bit of a giveaway, but...
A little bit. So, I technically would be, it's a late 80s, early 90s stock market... what is what's that word?
Mogul?
Yeah, that.
He's a rich businessman.
Yeah. And he has very interesting internal monologues. And he has some very interesting hobbies.
Yeah. It goes through, like, this guy's world of super rich, snooty business people who...
Yeah, very superficial.
Mm-hmm. Him and his, I was about to say buddies or friends, but he does not have any.
They're some are rivals group, and some are business associates.
Yeah, the business group, some of them work at the same place, co-workers, friends,
some
and
are
romantic
friends
and all that jazz. It's such a chaotic mess with all that.
Yeah.
It's just difficult to keep the characters straight because they're all so similar. Just like, okay, you're rich business dude 1, 2, 3, because they don't even have much
generic
varying
names. There's like Bob and George, and then is there a Larry? Or?
I don't know, man. It's like if you were to ask me the names of one of them, I would. I remember his name. Patrick Bateman.
Oh yeah, Patrick. Okay.
And I kept on in my head switching it to Norman Bates.
Same. I constantly wanted to call him Norman. I'm not.
Which question mark Bateman Bates
Psycho?
Inspiration. Maybe there's a link there, maybe not. This is a first-person perspective, so you are in the American Psycho's mindset the whole time. In rich business, corporate America land.
And the peak, too. Like they say the 80s, it was peak business time for the stock
Lots
market.
of change in the culture and stuff going on.
Suburbia was on the rise. And all the name dropping and all the celebrities.
The setting is very alien to the lowly peasants over here. Is there anything generic that you can say about it without getting to judgments? Let's just jump into the judgment a bit early this time, because it is difficult to talk about anything with this without spoilers.
It really is. And
also
the movie too.
There's a movie. I didn't watch it. Don't know if I want to after reading it.
I watched it.
Oh, you did?
It's only slightly tamer.
It's just... So it is a horror, obviously.
It's horror thriller.
Horror thriller.
A little bit of mystery.
Call it a thriller?
Well, you can't really call it horror because, like, there's not really.
Well, the brutal killing and the slasher. It's like a very slasher-esque.
I would almost put it psychological thriller.
Neo-slasher? A psychological thriller, maybe. But it's gruesome because the main character.
All of the trigger warnings. If there's anything you're sensitive to, look into that, because I don't think there's anything that's
part of the reason why it's like you can't even really talk about it, because once we get into the talking about it, it's just going to be, and here's anything that you can be triggered by, it's in there. So, I guess that's a little bit of a spoiler. But that's why it is insane how incredible of a character piece is in there. So we're gonna do the judgment early on just so we can freely talk about it. There's not really a whole lot to else. It is literally a book where you're just in the psycho's head and you're just following his day-to-day life, and that's pretty much all the plot that there is.
His psychosis gets worse too as it progresses.
I'm gonna write down.
I already got mine because I knew what this was going to be 30 seconds into the audiobook. I was like,
that's pretty much a giveaway.
You can know one way or another you're going to like or love a book.
I suppose that's fair, but we're going to do this. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
Hell! And American Psycho! Off you go to hell! Boy, this was a tough one. I'll let you go first if you want.
This book made Blood Meridian look like a fairy tale.
Oh, it did. I was super surprised about that too.
I can't believe I picked this.
Yeah, thanks, by the way. Dude, this book f***ed me up. Because I listened to most of it, right? And that's just going to be the default for all these pretty much, because it's impossible to find time to actually sit down. And I'm glad too, because I can't imagine sitting down and reading that crap actually.
No, same. I
and
tried.
being more immersed, potentially, and spending even more time with this asshat.
In his head. Oh, I know.
His perspective is one of the most miserable experiences I have ever experienced. Remember, so if anybody has watched the previous episode on Harry Potter, I cut it out for the video, but I went into a 1 hour long
it was a
rant / spiel about worth and mindfulness and presence and people measuring themselves compared to other people and how people will use that to justify atrocity. It's even in Blood Meridian, they're well, we're just better than you if we can kill you. And it's Judge's whole perspective was if you can kill somebody else, then you're better than them and you're in the right to do whatever you want.
It's fine, yeah.
So it's the whole idea was, if you are using this bar of measurement to if you have an inherent belief that you can feasibly, possibly under any circumstances, be more valuable, more worthy of existence, more whatever than somebody else, then you are immediately capable of all sorts of atrocity.
And it's fine.
And
it's justifiable.
It's just the only reason that more people don't do that if they are using the bar is the threat of repercussion. Law, jail,
little
and all
thing
that stuff.
laws.
Well, yeah, from a moral perspective, laws are preventing people who would just be okay with doing it because they have an ego already. And
they can.
Because you can make it up for anything. It can be clothes, the interest that you're in. Wealth and stuff is an obvious one.
Right.
It's just, I'm super successful or I've got a ton of clout. Then it's, you're worth less than me. And you see people when they go on insecure crash outs online and stuff, it's usually oriented around that. Don't you know who I am? And they're I don't care about what you're saying. I don't give a fuck. It's you do, because you're making a response video and freaking out.
Awesome
it's
video.
So it's you're feeling insecure about your placement in the bar of worth by somebody criticizing you.
Oh,
but,
I should have sent it to you. It was some 17, 18-year-old girl who driving a Porsche or something gets pulled over. And the cop goes, I need your insurance and whatever. And she goes, are you going to give me a ticket? She goes, do you know who my father is? And he goes, no, do you?
Damn.
I was
damn.
That was awesome. Her jaw dropped and I was yes.
But you can immediately see the attitude behind that.
Right.
It's that's the type of person who could just hit somebody with their car and be don't you know that inconveniences me for you to
die? What?
Do an investigation and stuff? You should just be letting this go. But Patrick Bateman is the epitome. He is the complete antithesis to everything that I was talking about.
He makes the judge look nice.
Yeah, he does. Good God. Because the judge at least has a moral standpoint that, from his perspective, that he is grandstanding on and trying to convince other people of.
Right.
This guy is not that. The complete opposite. He's sitting on the top of the meter. And anytime, it is funny though, because he gets super insecure also.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. If I had a facial
business
routine,
card
I would never
thing.
leave the house. The business card.
He has a business card and he's mine's slightly worse, and it's just because of a slight shade and text choice.
The font.
And then he's just
raised.
everybody's thinking about what a failure I am. It's funny how he goes on total meltdowns mentally. Aside from when those moments happen, he's I'm the best person in the universe. I'm better. I'm smarter. I'm hotter. And so he can justify doing anything to anybody.
Being in his head was the absolute literal worst.
It was so horrible because also it's just every single line he's just it's a watch, Rolex, $250.
Direct from Sweden
suit,
or
this
whatever. Yeah.
Brand. Everything was I'm wearing a brand with this monetary value, and
I got
everything.
It from this.
I got it from this store. I watched this show.
His nails and then he didn't just do it to himself. He did it to everybody.
Everybody. He's like, she was wearing this. It was worth that much. She should be embarrassed because she chose to wear that. And
it
was literally
nuts.
measuring everybody. And then it's like, once again, with the whole worth thing, it was like, anything that was not him is the grounds to treat somebody worse, which means that literally everybody falls under that category.
Yeah, there was no one who was better.
But like that also means that he was a breeding ground of any type of discrimination possible, which also links to the stuff that I had said before. Yeah. This is staying in this one because the whole point of this book is that worth thing. I'm just like, this book, if there's to be a point, is to be like, here's a character portrait of everything you never want to be.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because some people see him the other way.
I have a conspiracy theory. Like, there is some sort of divine intervention or something going around with this particular podcast. I swear. Yeah. All the books we pick, there's some weird, it's an anniversary or a movie is being made or some, like, it's just freaky little things that keep happening. Well, as we were reading this book, like, I'm dead in the middle of it. A news article from, I saved it. Let me get it.
Yep, pop it up.
From IGN.com. So,
IGN.
fairly reputable. American Psycho director Mary Herron said she is mystified by Wall Street bros.
Yeah.
Embracing Patrick Bateman as he's like the gym bro. Or like he's the standard.
Oh, I mentioned that in the last one too, that people will take character like this and the Joker and be like, this is actually a positive role model. They're like, I actually like this person.
They're striving to be him.
Yeah.
I'm like,
complete delusion.
And like I said, I've seen the movie. It's only slightly watered down from the book. Like, it's not shed in positive way. I'm like, are you what?
I understand this, like, what people might be thinking behind it because they are currently actively using the bar trademark. That's what I refer to it as. It's the worth measurement bar.
Trademarked.
Yeah. But they are looking at the world and being like, maybe they're insecure, or people who are being introduced into like these alpha bro spheres and stuff. And they're like, how do you be a valuable, high quality, high value man or whatever? And then these people are like, you just have to do these 3 steps. And then they're like, oh, I can do that. And then I can be better than everybody else. And
but Patrick Bateman is going to be...
Well, he's the poster boy for feeling better than everybody else. So it makes sense. Yeah. Because they're just like, oh, everything he does is boiled down to, you just have to do these things and then you'll be better than everybody else. Of course, like, people don't really realize, like, if him and anybody was present, then it's just whatever I currently do is better than everybody else, which is also how most of the Alpha Bro places work. Because it's like the person who is like leading the channels or the podcast or whatever is always going to be like I'm better than all of you people. You all have to keep on looking up to me forever. And I'm going to belittle y'all forever. It is the 25th anniversary. But there's always been an anniversary for even the next one that we have picked out.
Even that one is coming up with the 10-year anniversary. There's your hint right there.
It's crazy. Because it's like him, Joker, just like actual delusional psychopaths. Like, but they kind of got a point. It's like, no, they don't.
No, they don't. The only villain that almost sort of has a point is Thanos, and that's if you really dig into it. Otherwise...
Well, I would say that there's figures who have points, but that doesn't make them like in the right.
Yeah.
This guy just has no points. If your financial value / worth the amount of money you make is how you measure the world, then you're also going to be just a miserable person like Bateman. Because that's another interesting thing about that when people compare themselves to him is just like, the dude's miserable the whole book. It's like, it's not always presented that way, but he's nonstop complaining.
All of the time.
He's never happy.
My internal, I'm okay.
Even when he's like killing people or like after killing people, he's just immediately like miserable and bored again.
Yeah, he gets like a 30-second high and he's like, well, what's next?
Yeah, well, even he doesn't even like really enjoy it or like...
Only some things.
It's more like he's distracting himself from his misery. So it's like his enjoyment and happiness or whatever when he's like doing killing is just, I'm escaping from my misery for 30 seconds or whatever.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then it's like just right back into it. And then he's constantly on drugs. That's also another funny thing because it's just like, drugs. He's also just a drug addict, which blows my mind that people also try to be like, oh yeah, you should be like him. It's like, dude, he's a drug addict. He's a piece of shit. He's a murderer, which should be the number one red flag out of all of it.
Well, that's like the Deadpool killer. Have you heard about him? I think that was last spring or whatever. His legit legal name is Wade Wilson. That's why they call him the Deadpool killer.
Oh, okay.
But he's got like facial tattoos. He killed like 4 or 5 women or whatever. But because he's hot, all these women came flooding out, and they're like, I can change him.
I remember that.
I was like,
yeah, that's just some delusion right there.
Like, I have a friend who, when that whole thing came out, she's like, have you seen this guy? And I was like, no. She's like, he's kind of hot. And she showed me a picture. I'm like, no, he's not.
I kind of theorize the reason. Like, obviously, this is just armchair psychology right here. But I kind of theorize the reason, like, people who are, like, really attracted to people who are, like, serial killers and stuff, they just want to be a serial killer. And they're just, they're afraid of the repercussions. I don't believe anything else. Because it's like, you have a person who's, like, a serial killer and, like, kind of hot. It's just like, oh, so you want him to serial kill on your behalf when you're upset against somebody. You feel like there are grounds where, or like circumstances that you could be justified. Like, I just wish we could kill these people because they annoy me. And, you know.
And then there you go.
The bar trademark. But they won't do it themselves because it's
every time you say bar trademark, you have to put it up on the screen.
The bar trademark. TM. I need to make an actual, like, little graphic.
Bar TM.
Magic worth bar.
I don't understand. I mean, I'm all for helping people, but like, holy crap, there's a limit.
It gives a sense of like freedom to be like, oh, I just have an impulse to kill this person because they annoy the hell out of me, and being like, oh, that person's brave enough to kill somebody despite the laws and despite the punishment, and there's like a warped sense of like empowerment through that. Sort of, yeah. But they are just slaves to their impulses and stuff to begin with.
Okay, so was there anything you liked about this book?
Yeah. That is the perfect portrayal of everything that you don't want to be. No, so it's interesting in the perspective of like, for the guy writing it, if you're putting yourself in the perspective of, I can't imagine being in the mindset writing this book and walking away without wanting to die.
No.
So like, but if like, I don't know who, it's like either this author had a lot of issues or he developed a lot of issues as a result of this.
What was the 80s?
It was the 80s. He must have been like just on some hard drugs writing it.
I bet you him and Stephen King could have discussions.
Maybe. As far as his being a character that exists, I liked that. He was a solid character. So in praise of that, you wrote a really terrifying, miserable, like hyper villain, pretty much.
I mean, the bar has been set. Bar TM.
Like I said, I can't imagine. I cannot think of a more evil villain than this guy.
No, and like,
because if
I've read some bad villains, and that one definitely. I regret reading this book because it
messed me up. I got depressed after bouts of like listening to it. I'd listen to like 10 chapters in a row on audiobook, and then I'd put it down, and I was just like depressed. Is this the world that we live in?
I mean, I didn't go that far down the rabbit hole, but I've been like, man, the 80s. Like, I knew the 80s was messed up, 80s, early 90s, but like, holy crap, I never went into like the stock market area of messed up.
The rich people.
Yeah.
Stairs.
Like, I mean, I've read some celebrity ones from like the 70s and early 80s, but they're still nonfiction, but they never went there.
I mean, it was depressing to me because I'm just like, I listen to this guy talk, and I do hear like the whole manosphere, alpha male podcast, Jim Bro type of people talking. It's like, it is the same ideas pushing the behaviors. And you see it also with their behaviors. It's like the Andrew Tates in the world. Yep. And it's like, oh yeah, I can't remember I think he was actually convicted of this, but I'm just going to say allegedly because I'm not 100% sure. It's like, oh yeah, of course somebody like Andrew Tate who uses the bar and is just very blatant in how he disrespects women and all that type of stuff, and he just calls everyone, and he's like, you're a piece of shit compared to me and all this stuff, and like that's his whole marketing and everything. Like, of course you would allegedly be trafficking women.
Didn't he have to leave the country? Like I thought he was on the run or something. Maybe.
Again, can't remember if that actually was convicted or not. I think he was convicted of it. There's just a ton of guys like Andrew Tate and stuff. He's just kind of like the poster boy for that alpha male, horrible mindset that will not make you happy if you follow all of his advice, by the way.
I don't understand why do you guys listen to him? Like, he has to have, like, what, bazillion followers and whatever? Like, shut him down.
They're
like,
just
what the heck?
so, well, as far as shutting him down, it's like, there's always going to be, like, a platform that will let these people keep on coming back. Like, I'm pretty sure he's been, like, kicked off of a lot of platforms before.
Blows my
Because
brain.
there was also this whole thing, it's like, they're trying to censor me and stuff. Because he's basically just talking a bunch of nonsense. And, like, he pushes for ideas that are Bateman-like. And
it's just...
And that's what depressed me about it, though. Because I'm just like, dude, people nowadays, like, we have cultural pushes to be more like him instead of less like him. People are so obsessed with money and the grind and superficiality right now, especially in those spheres. Like, it's really bad, but it is everywhere. In social media in general, it's like the name of the game is comparing yourself to other people. Yep. Like, if you couldn't compare yourself to other people, Bateman wouldn't exist as a person. His whole MO is that.
Yeah.
But
I actually read a thing about the author
it was just depressing. Because I've even seen it pop up and be like, you should be like Bateman. They practically one for one will tell you that they'll have inspirational quotes or whatever
since reading
with his
this
face
book,
on.
I keep seeing little things about it. And I'm like, did y'all read this book? Like,
they didn't. They don't read books.
Did they watch the movie? Like,
I think they did.
See all the women he tortured and murdered and abused and the animal cruelty?
I don't think they have a problem with it. Like, they would probably, if they were to defend it, they would be like, but of course we're not that extreme. It's like, yeah, you don't realize, though, that the path that you are on is the same path.
It leads there.
You become more rich, more wealthy. You start feeling more invincible. Mm-hmm. You're going to do the same things as Andrew Tate, Epstein, all these super rich people who think that they can never get caught and are invincible. And they do get away with stuff forever.
Some do, like,
It's the mindset behind atrocity. And, but they just don't realize it.
They always think they're above it, and I don't understand.
Because that's talking more about the leaders. I think there's a lot more of just a naivety behind the people who are kind of following them, because they're like, oh, this person's telling me how to get some sort of direction in life. And occasionally there are elements of truth to the stuff that they say, like, you should take care of yourself, go to the gym, just
do the facial.
Some generic stuff, which is like, okay, if somebody is really downtrodden and they are using the bar measurement and they view themselves as...
You didn't TM it.
The bar TM, sorry. I gotta protect our copyright. But if they view themselves at the bottom of the bar, and they're like, this person is a guiding angel to be like, they will lift me out of the bottom of society, then they're like, wow, that's one of the only honest, good people out there, because they told me the hard truth and stuff, and they're trying to censor it and keep me at the bottom because...
Because
there are people out there who do want to keep you at the bottom too.
Oh, absolutely.
But, and that doesn't help the situation.
Especially if you take the Bateman approach, where he keeps himself up by killing everybody below him.
Well, yeah, that's what it escalates to. But it is a thing where they're like, if you remove the killing, they're just like, oh, if I dress better, if I take care for myself, I'm going to actually treat myself with some respect and work out with my body and all that type of stuff. I'm going to elevate my worth. But they don't realize it's like the core problem that you have is you are putting yourself on the bar to be measured to begin with. And you are always going to be insecure if that exists. TM. Yeah. You just can't be, because if you feel like you can move at all on the bar, if you can go up on the bar, TM, then you can go down once again. It's like, okay, so you did all this. Let's just theoretical situation. You are the bottom. You're the ass of society. Well, that sounds too good, actually. You're the
loam of
plumber's
society.
crack. Society.
Mine was way less graphic.
Well, I'm a man, so I can say crude things and get away with it. No, I'm just kidding. I can though.
I'm the angel, and like if this is Kronk's shoulder, I'm the angel side. Yeah, I get the halo. Yeah,
you gotta do a video edit of that at one point too.
That sounds like the thumbnail picture.
That's what I mean, a thumbnail picture with the little edits with the horns on one and then the angel halo on the other.
Yep.
But assume that you're like the ugliest person in society. You have no job, no money. You're ugly. You're just all the traditional stuff that people use to like devalue somebody. You're all of those, right?
You're gutter trash,
and you feel like it, and you're like, and I know I'm trash also. Okay. Then this guy pops up, gives you your magic dust. You follow everything perfectly. You become the pinnacle of society. Not
that's
society,
actually the synopsis of Pretty Woman. It's literally a Pretty Woman.
I have no clue. Never.
She was a prostitute, and he hires her to go on these dates and stuff with him because his family won't leave him alone. So, like, she was, she's a prostitute, so she's not very high up on the bar.
Right. Well, yeah, she would be near the bottom of the bar.
And so he, gives her a bath and, dresses her up and all the jewels and whatever, and then she becomes, like, this high thing. That's where the stupid scene where she goes to a mall and she's like, I tried to shop here yesterday and you wouldn't see me. And
I've seen that clip.
That's that.
Oh.
You literally, that's Pretty Woman.
Yeah, that is that.
The Pretty Woman effect.
But they put themselves on top of the bar, and then they're like, I'm so much more valuable, right? They're always going to be insecure. They might just be blind to it because at that point, they're just going to start like, oh, actually, I'm not. And they're just going to be like really defensive anytime it gets questioned and be like, actually, do you even lift, bro? Huh? If you try to criticize them, it's like, I have 500 Porsches and $20 million, and I totally get with women every other day, and I don't pay them. I totally don't pay them.
Not at all.
To be in my videos or anything else. Then something horrific happens, like you get into a car accident, your face gets disfigured, you lose your arms and your legs, and all of a sudden you're back on the bottom again. You're always going to be insecure of that being a potential thing.
And then you slowly go into badness. Like,
they'll even say it's a mindset thing. It's like you have to envision yourself as being above everybody else in order to treat yourself better. It's like, no, you just need to remove the bar. TM. It's like, just because other people are using it doesn't mean you have to put yourself in that cage.
Right.
And that's where the differentiation is you can either willingly put yourself in the cage and like play this game of I'm worth more than other people and be insecure your whole life, or, well, you're always gonna be insecure, and then also have it just manifest in one negative attribute or another in abusing other people or abusing yourself. That's pretty much your only options. Is if you're at the bottom and you're like, and everyone's right, society is right, if you're feeling like society is the one that's causing you to be at the bottom, theoretically. Then I should just not exist, woe is me. And then, even then, it's like you can just lash out and be like, well, if I'm worthless, I'm going to make everyone else worthless. It's kind of like a sewer slide bomb type strat. That's a censor workaround.
Okay.
You want to see the world burn. Is usually, it's the resentment
it's
type.
the evil villain. Like, he doesn't care. He just wants to watch the
you're
world
just
burn.
bitter about everything. And that's usually because of that standpoint, right? Or you're Epstein. And you literally see everyone else's trash, and that's all the justification you need. You don't need a lashback. You are just a predator.
And the worst part is these people are actually brilliant. Like, Bateman is genius. He's
smart.
He's super,
intelligent.
He's super smart. He went to, I actually didn't know. Did they say what schools?
I don't know. He's just rich.
Because he name dropped a school, and I can't remember what it was, because it's been a hot second.
Yale, I don't know, one of them.
I don't remember. But he's, like, super intelligent, and he basically uses his powers for evil, because, like, he'll plan out exactly who he's going to take. Like, he'll scout out areas and make sure, like, no one's gonna miss this dog or this man or woman that he will do horrible things to or take to his apartment and do horrible things to. And but he is super smart about it, and it ticks me off.
It's all calculated.
But even like Epstein, he was super genius, and I'm sure Tate isn't a moron. Otherwise, he wouldn't.
Well, everything that they're doing is intentional,
right?
So it's like, even when it comes to like Tate, he knows what he is doing when it comes to like leading on all these guys. He knows.
TM.
TM. Burp TM.
See, I had to laugh throughout this, otherwise I would...
You'd be just so depressed. But he knows that his audience are insecure guys and that he can be the king on the top of the hill, lording over them. Mm-hmm. And like even when it comes to a lot of his schemes, they're very pyramid scheme-esque, allegedly.
Totally are.
And it's like, oh yeah, forever we're at the top, and our financial advice is you go ahead and sell our courses to other people on how to be a cool, successful person. And it's just like, it's all just built to profiteer off of these people. Like, they are victims of these people on the top of the mounds. And there's a very limited amount of people saying stuff like, the problem is you are measuring yourself to others in society. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, society is encouraging it, especially when it comes to social media and news media and all them, because they're like, they're obsessed with that type of thing. It goes to some baser human nature to just keep on trying to compare yourself to other people.
Oh, back in the caveman days, I'm sure one caveman had cooler drawings than another caveman.
Yeah, something like. I mean, I do think that there's an element of like survivability potentially.
I mean, it's just
if you bring it back to ancient time, it's really like competing against other people, especially if you're getting to a more tribal zone where you're not talking about millions upon billions of people. Because now it's like, even with social media, it's like bad enough to compare yourself to just people in a town. But now it's like with social media, the internet, it's like you can compare yourself to anyone in the world, which means there's always going to be somebody better at something than you, in some way than you, or at least you perceive it as being better instead of just different. And
if you have Bateman's mindset, then that's just going to drive you nuts.
Oh, yeah. I love his meltdowns, honestly.
They were so juvenile.
But even things like that, but when I was talking about how I think he is a really good, like a really well and thought out written character as far as his depravity and stuff is like, because he does, it's perfectly captured. It's like these type of people we talk about, like the Tate and stuff, but it's like the second he gets that inkling of feeling inferior to somebody else, he just has total mental breakdowns. Like with the business card. Was there a fashion thing on one of his haircut. He used like a different mousse or something.
They changed it or something.
And he was on a date, and then he was just insecure about his hair the whole time. He's like, everyone is staring at me and my awful
hair. Even though his hair looked exactly the same.
And the girl's like, your hair looks great. And it did not matter because he had already psyched himself out.
Didn't he miss an appointment too to like...
to do it again or something?
Something else with his hair.
I don't know. There were so many events of here's... let me backtrack a little bit. The biggest redeeming feature of the book to me is just his character. Super well written.
Yeah.
If you were to say that there's a positive as far as any like cultural importance, it is a cautionary tale. It's like this is like kind of the result of the social norms that are being accepted and pushed by media, social media. Well, nowadays social media still can be interpreted very similarly.
Right.
And just like this hyper corporate, the only thing that matters is how successful and how productive you are.
How many houses you have and how many wives
you rank in society. So it's like, I think it's a cautionary tale to that means. I really do. And even if it's not necessarily the author's intent, it can definitely be interpreted that way. So for those are the two virtues I would give it. Do you have any positives or anything that you enjoyed about it whatsoever?
I have nothing I enjoyed about this.
That is absolutely fair.
See, like, you could get the guy side of it. I was on the outside of this. I was like, this guy, well, he's a psycho. Well, okay, what was your rating? Out of
Star rating?
Yeah.
For the book? It's hard for me to even place it. I would... just because of the virtues that I presented it before, like it's got a couple things I think are actually just well done. I'd give it like a 2.5.
Wow. I only gave it a 1.5.
It's like, that 0.5 is very debatable. It was miserable though.
Well,
and that's why...
I don't remember what you gave Blood Meridian.
3.
Was it a 3?
3.5 maybe.
So you only gave it a half a star less than Blood Meridian?
That's a good. Well, Blood Meridian was like really boring in half of it.
I mean, fair, but like I would, when he would go on his rants about what everybody in the room was wearing, I wanted to rip my hair out.
I felt more like emotional responses from this book, even if they were negative, than I did from Blood Meridian. And it kind of gets the same point across as Blood Meridian, except worse. And on a more personal level. So I think Blood Meridian is a better book and a better read experience overall. But like if I was to say that a character was written better, it's like his character is so in depth with how detailed his personality and his like depths of like just insanity go, that I just have a type of respect for it, for the writer. But like the contents were horrible and miserable. I hated it.
Yeah,
I'm rating it like a 2-star. Officially, I'm just going to give it a 2-star. But I hated it. I would never revisit it. Ever.
If it wasn't for the podcast, I'd probably unhaul it. But like, I liked the idea of the trophy thing. But like...
It is currently at the deepest pit of hell.
Oh, it definitely goes below
Blood Meridian. Blood Meridian just looks like a saint. The judge looks like a saint.
Like, it looks like... I don't like it. It's Harry Potter. It's Harry Potter.
Dude, and then it's just like, here's the thing about him that was I'm gonna just transition to things I hated the most, or that was just the hardest to deal with while listening to it. So like we just talked about the virtues. The worst of it for me was just being in that mindset the whole time. It's just like every single thing he did was the worth bar, TM. And that just drove me insane. I was just like, there is not a single action that this guy takes that doesn't utilize that bar.
You know what would be fun? Oh, sorry. I just thought of something wild. And if there's somebody that made this fanfic, I want to read it. So if anybody knows, like...
The fuck?
What if they gender bent it? Like, it made it Bateman was a woman? Like, can you imagine? Because we have so much more to take care of. Like, we have much... As detailed as Bateman's whole curriculum was, you could double that for a businesswoman.
There's a movie that came out called The Substance that approaches that territory. I believe. I don't think it's quite like Bateman's, but it's addresses like all of the how you have to just present yourself perfectly in society and stuff like that. Because I think it's about like an aging model or something like that, and she basically. It's a horror movie. She finds a way to basically like recapture her youth or something like that. But
I've never heard of this.
It's a recent movie. I think it came out last year.
That's probably why I've never heard of it.
But I've heard that was really good.
Well out of the loop.
But it's
that
not
would be wild.
One for one, but it does address a similar element of it. I think it wouldn't resonate quite as much because kind of like with the Alpha Bro spheres, like there's a distinct observable reality that there's a lot of guys that get drawn into that type of mindset.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think you necessarily see that as often. It would be interesting to see like behaviorally.
A gender bent version? I would be. I almost feel like it would turn into the Kardashians.
Well, like if I was to portray it, it would probably seem a lot like Kardashians, where it's just.
I mean, just more.
It would just be escalated so violent. Much more.
Which, maybe if it was more violent, I'd watch the stupid show.
Maybe.
That sounds terrible. I don't condone anything in this.
There would be just a lot more of like passive aggressive put downs and stuff.
Well, isn't that already? I don't know. I've never watched a single.
I'm
thing
sure it is, but
show,
just whatever it is, just escalate it 3 times or something like that. That's what I kind of meant. I've never seen it.
No,
I've never had an interest.
I only know about it because someone I used to work with.
I'm going to give you a hot take too. I don't even think they're that attractive.
They're not.
I think they're
really
mid.
Not.
I'll go on the record. The Kardashians are mid attractiveness. I think one of them is okay, like pretty good, but I can't remember which one.
There's a Chloe, I think.
Not Kim.
Is Kim the one that
I think
was
Kim
married
is
to
Kim is the biggest
Kanye?
one. She's got that huge ass that was going around.
Okay, I think she was the one that used to be married to Kanye. I think
she was going on. She became a meme because she took like pictures where like she was throwing it back and she like put a bottle of champagne on her ass.
No, she had the cup on her butt. And she like popped a cork. Like that. It was like yeah. I'm pretty sure that was Kim.
So that was like making meme rounds a while back. So that's the only reason I even know her.
But yeah, I feel like if you were to gender bend Patrick, it would
be similar to that. It would be
a Kardashian or
I would
a reality show.
It would be interesting to see that.
Right?
I feel like I would like for if you were to take the bar measurement thing, TM. And you apply it to like a woman and then like push it to the extreme and you see the psychology behind it of how that would be interpreted and how it could differentiate. I'd be interested in seeing that.
Mm-hmm. But I bet
you can throw in the killer aspect too. You know, feel free.
Would be better at it because he almost got caught a few times.
I want to talk about that for a little bit too. Because I'm not 100% sure if I am interpreting it correctly or not. But did he actually kill anybody?
Yes.
Because
he shoved the knife into that homeless guy's eye.
He says he did.
What, you think it was all just a psychosis?
Yeah. Because at the end, he says that one person couldn't have met up with the guy that he had murdered. And he's like, I met him 10 days ago. He's alive. Yeah,
but that guy was also insane. He kept saying he saw Patrick like 2 days ago. And he's like, no, I didn't.
But that's because Patrick is insane.
I mean, true.
Patrick is an unreliable narrator. That's one thing that became very distinct, especially by the end. And I think the point of that last scene where
didn't even occur to my brain.
The guy is saying like, dude, I had a meeting with him 10 days ago. And not only that, but I found it suspicious early on, after a few kills, and it was frustrating, but I did find it suspicious. I was like, how come we don't hear anything about police investigations or newspapers or anything? That never gets touched on.
There was just that one private eye who was looking for the one business dude that he killed. Because remember he like faked it that he went over to London or England or somewhere. Like he faked... Well, he bought the tickets and like he dressed up as him and like actually flew over there, but then came back as... Like he did this whole thing. I don't remember. Yeah, there was... And the wife hired a private detective to find him.
I don't remember.
Really?
There are so many killings and stuff.
I think that was the one... No, that's not the one that hit on him in the bathroom.
No, that guy's still alive.
Yeah, he didn't die, which I was like, really?
Well, it was ruined for Bateman. That was funny.
Basically, the fun was taken out
laughing.
of it for him. Yeah, that was funny.
Bateman is also like... We're talking about discrimination. It's like he's hyper discriminatory about women, about like homophobic, like all those things.
He's
like
all
racist, and he drops every single slur in the book. I was also like really annoyed because it was also once again going to how difficult it was just to read him. Is like they're at a restaurant. It's like the waitress is a hard body, probably about a C cups.
I never want to hear that again. After
I know, and I was just at first I was just confused. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? I was like, oh, it's just a word to be like, this is the class of woman she is. She's physically
like
slimmer
woman
or whatever. Total hard body. I just wanted to shoot myself, man. But once again, but that's why it's like it literally is everything is like the waitress is a hard body. She's wearing this blonde hair, perfect. It's like because he objectively he has a preference obviously, but he's like if she's blonde, has big tits and an ass, objectively better than every other woman out there.
She shouldn't be a waitress. She should be a model.
Yeah,
she should apply herself more.
Because also too because then it's like even when he's like you should be more successful and stuff like that, but you're lazy and you're worthless because you're not making as much money as me.
Even though any waitress on the planet would be like, dude, you could never.
It was also funny because like there was a couple small interactions, once again addressing his insecurity. It's like whenever he was like flirting and stuff, he's like, she put her
You're gonna call that flirting
on my yeah. You put your hands on like my abdomen or whatever, and I flexed immediately because she needs to see how ripped I am. And I was just like,
the amount of times he has to flex something, I'm like, oh, you make me hurt.
I immediately tensed up my muscles. But I tried to do it casually, as if like I'm not intentionally doing it, just because I don't want him to think that I'm not totally ripped. It's just stupid things like that. That I was just he did dip into comedically insecure without realizing how insecure he is. So there was elements of that I laughed at. The business card thing, I was laughing.
You should watch that movie clip.
The meltdown is so funny. It's just like, because he's also completely locked on the idea that everybody else is thinking that he is such an idiot for having such a worse business card than him. And it's like, no one can't tell. Cared. It's like no one gets out and no one else cares, but he was just like, they're not thinking of anything else. I just feel so much worse. Crazy.
But also, okay,
we need to talk about the one guy that didn't die. Let me interrupt that really quick, because that's why we brought it up initially. Because like he's super homophobic, and there's one guy that he doesn't kill, and it's because he like has the idea to kill him, and he goes into a bathroom to strangle him or whatever, but then he basically pulls a harder daddy, and then Bateman's like, oh my god. And then drops him, and then he can't kill him because he feels like any aggression will turn him on.
Right.
And that ruins it for Bateman, because he's just like, well, that ruins the murder.
That was funny.
I was just like, you had this coming, man, eventually. This was going to happen at some point.
I mean, it was funny. I mean, you didn't see it coming. At least I didn't in the book. I saw the movie like 5 or 6 years ago, so like it's not clear in my brain other than the business card. That's clear in my brain.
It was also funny, like how deeply he excuse me.
Yeah.
Like how intensely homophobic he is, but then also he just kind of dips into pseudo gay behaviors.
He's definitely got some,
like when he was at the concert,
problems. Which
he was at a concert and he was just like fantasizing about the lead singer or whatever. He's like, and we had a connection. I know that he was like a serial killer too.
That's right, when he's
and
like, he's saying right to my soul or something like that.
And he's like, and I became solidly erect.
Okay, before I totally forget.
Bono, that was Bono, right?
Every single, like that? Okay, that's a lie. All of them but one, because there's so many. They go into these histories of like U2, was it Whitney Houston? I don't know. There's like a couple. Oh no, it's Genesis and Phil Collins.
Yeah, something like that.
And then Huey Lewis and the News. I love Huey Lewis and the News. I love their music, but I don't like Phil Collins and Genesis, and I don't like U2. So I was like, it's all so funny that those are like his favorite bands. I'm like, I knew it,
right?
Because I think it was at the U2 concert that he was fantasizing about Bono.
Something like that.
It's like he's saying right into my soul, even through the sunglasses or something like that.
Yeah, he was like, we made eye contact, and I knew that he was also a psychopath murderer.
Maybe Celine Dion was another one. I don't know. There were some tangents.
There was a bunch of pop culture
references,
but most of them are unimportant.
It was another annoying part of this book, was just the random insertion of the entire history of bands. Like, why?
I just
there was no reason for that.
Well, so another like big negative that I have for it is just there's not a plot again.
No,
it's like Blood Meridian in the fact that it's just stuff that happens, and it's like he's just a guy throughout his life, and then he kills some people. That's the plot.
Pretty much.
It's like it doesn't have a start and an end point.
No, even when it ends, it's like, and I woke up the next day or whatever it said.
He just goes to a meeting or whatever, and they just go to a restaurant. And it's the exact same thing. They use some very similar lines and stuff too.
There's a lot of repetitive everything.
Yeah,
I got to the end and I like literally threw my headset, and my mom was like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm done." And she goes, "Finally," because she was tired of me complaining to her. And I made so many faces. Like, she would look at me and just be going like this. Mm-hmm. Like, oh my gosh. Because, I'd be like, one of the prostitute scenes in his apartment. I'm just like...
that one was rough, dude.
There was no reason for this book
spicy
to be as sexual
scenes.
As it was.
Well, it applies to his psychosis. It's believable behavior for who he is.
Yeah.
Because it's like, obviously, he would be paying prostitutes and stuff also so he can treat them like trash. And he would have some
interesting tastes.
I did find it funny.
I was so uncomfortable.
It was gross. Mind you, I was not really expecting just how explicit it was. Because it was just nonstop. And he was like, and she wiggled her finger up my asshole. And I was just like, and you're like really not gay?
Right? I mean, I realized
it's like it's not the same thing. Like I'll give you that, but I was just like, that's what I'm saying. Is like he just kind of tiptoes into like pseudo gay things.
He's bi at least.
Where he's like, and I stared at Bono, and he stared at me back, and I got a hard on, and I was just like, what?
In a room full of.
And then the next line, he's like,
people.
and everybody's censored. Yeah. But just imagine the slur, you know.
Mm-hmm. There was just so many.
But then he's just like, and man, I just loved the feeling of her finger like up my bumhole, and I was just like, I don't know. It's tiptoeing towards that.
I mean, there are many theories on. I mean, I don't really care. Like, you know, whatever do you? But like,
I don't give a shit. It's just interesting on him because of how hardcore discriminatory.
Oh yeah,
he is.
He's so homophobic, but then he will do stuff like that, and you're like, okay.
It's just I don't have interest in that type of thing. That's all I'm saying. I'm pretty much as trad straight as you get. So
same though, but like, yeah.
It's just not in my interest field. So it's like obviously do whatever you want, but it's one of those tiptoeing things. It'd be like if somebody was to come up to me and say that they're not gay, and then they have like a collection of dildos and they're like, oh, I just like using them every now and then. I'm just like, I don't know.
People...
You just don't sound quite as straight as you're saying. That's all I'm saying.
There are some people though. That's their thing.
It's their thing. It's fine. It's not a judgment thing. It's just it raises an eyebrow of suspicion to be like, I'm not saying I like gay sex, just a simulation of it. But it's only it's just super funny from him because of how homophobic he is.
Yeah, it doesn't match a lot of stuff. But then also, like, yes, he pays for 3 or 4 prostitutes in the book.
Oh, yeah, it happens a few
That's
times.
on page. I'm sure there are many more that's off page.
Oh,
but then the women he dates are the dumbest bimbos on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
They're so, like, that one, I forget her name. She went on, I swear, for 5 pages about, was it a crab cake? Or she threw a dinner party.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept going, I can't remember what it was. Was it sushi? I don't remember, but
there was a sushi thing, yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly asking people, is it okay? I had it shipped from wherever.
Yeah.
Do you think it's okay? It smelled a little funny.
It's the sushi, yeah.
And like the waitstaff looked at it funny and blah blah blah.
I mean, I think
5 pages of just this sushi.
All the characters were annoying. Like all the side characters were annoying also because they did the same thing. All the women were the same. They were all doing the whole measurement thing. They were using the bar TM also. They're just not murder psychopaths. It's like all the business guys, they all did it. They were all doing the comparison thing nonstop also. Because also all of them are also drug addicts, which is kind of funny.
Prescribed.
But they're all super superficial and stuff.
Prescribed drug addicts.
Not the cocaine.
Not that one, but like Bateman talked about getting, I forget what his anti-anxiety thing was.
Oh yeah, because he's always using that stuff too.
He's like, I'm out of my pills, and that's when he has a break.
One of them starts with a V, I think.
Valium. Yeah.
Valium
he's
is
on
one
Valium.
of them. But yeah, which is also just kind of funny because once again, you can see how insecure he is to be just constantly having anxiety attacks and all that type of stuff too.
Also, okay, going back to his psychosis, like it's not real. If that's the case, then what is his obsession with the video store?
The video store?
He's constantly, I have to return a video.
He uses that as an excuse to get out of things.
But he also like goes to the video store constantly.
As an excuse. Well, he's renting like porn and stuff from there.
But yeah, but like he'll leave and then be like, I have to go to the video store and turn around and go back.
I mean, that could just be a tick thing also. Well, there were also moments, because I think one time he leaves and comes back, but he was like attracted to like the cashier or something like that. Or he wanted the person who was like checking out like his movies to make a comment on what he was watching or something.
Maybe?
It was a social interaction for one of them. But half the time when he brings it up, I believe it was just an excuse like, I can't go on a date. I have videotapes to return.
Yeah. But
But it also could just be one of his like weird tick things because he's like obsessed about everything and because everything needs to be like perfect, you know? Because, you know, in his book, if you're doing everything perfect, you're worth more than everybody else. But the movie store stuff, he obviously has like just a bunch of weird ticks like that.
I hated this book.
But the psychosis thing, like I said, there's also a few other things that kind of lend to what he is saying and what is being presented to you is actually happening, because he also claims that he is constantly saying outlandish shit. Like, and then nobody responds. Like, I murdered 20 people, and then there's like, and they just kept on talking as if they didn't hear me.
You're so funny.
Well, no, they don't even respond.
The one said something. They're like, "Oh, you're joking. You're so funny."
Oh, near the end.
Yeah, I don't remember what he said.
Near the end, one of the other business... That was when he says that I murdered the guy that he had a meeting with.
Oh, okay.
He's like, "You're joking. And then he's like, "You're not amusing anymore, Bateman." And he's just like, "Why?" That's where that one meme clip comes from. The, "Why, you stupid bastard."
Oh, see, I don't remember that part of the movie.
And then he's like, "Because I had dinner with him 10 days ago in that country." And then he was like, "What? You couldn't have?" Question mark. And then he's like questioning himself. But also it's like, because he also said that he hid a bunch of bodies in an apartment, and then somebody was selling that guy's apartment or whatever. And he was like, "This isn't that guy's apartment."
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And there was no bodies in there, and he was just like,
because he found out the apartment was for sale, and then he was going to go view it or something, and he was expecting the smell, and then the smell never happened. And I forgot about that.
Because there's also no news. He gets kind of frustrated because he's also obsessed with serial killers.
Yeah.
And he wants some of that notoriety at that point by the end, and he's not getting it. It's like, because I don't think he actually did it. The only one that might be potentially would be the guy with the eye gouged out, because that one guy says, "I know you from somewhere," and he like pulls a gun on him and like just robs him.
Yeah.
And that guy's like, "You killed some guy." So I couldn't tell. They said that it might have been like a cab driver or something like that. So I was like, that one maybe, but like I said, I debate whether or not he's actually killed anybody at all, and he's just completely fantasizing everything, because they never mention a police report, they never mention any evidence, they never follow up on any of his kills ever, to my recollection.
There's a private investigator for the one guy. And
there's even a scene where I could have swore like he killed one of the prostitutes or something, and then he talked to her again in a future scene. I might be messing that up, but I could have swore, I think his name was like Christy or something like that, or Cindy. Like I said, it's hard to keep the character straight because they're all so like, none of them are important, none of them stand out whatsoever. But I could have swore, I was like, "Didn't you just kill that person earlier?" I might be wrong, though.
I can't remember. I read this like beginning of April or middle of April, so it's been a hot minute for me.
Yeah. It's been a few weeks too, so it's like some information you just blurry.
It's just, and I only retained what I have retained because I needed to for filming. But after this, I'm done. Like, I don't want to think about this book.
No, I'll never think about this book ever again.
Other than I never thought we'd hit below Blood Meridian. And we found it.
Well, like, I thought, well, here's...
It was me. I had to beat you.
I do blame you. What I thought...
My halo just got a little bit dimmer.
Yeah, straight up. I thought that if there was something that was like worse than Blood Meridian, it would be dipping more into just like a cringy, edgy type of thing. Like, and then I slaughtered 5,000 puppies and kittens. Ain't I a bad guy? Stuff like that. I didn't expect something like this, where I'm just like, this is like just an accurate portrayal down to like just little tiny behaviors. I was just like, he's believable.
To be fair, it was Google that told me. I just Googled it.
That's part of the reason why it was such a miserable read, was just because of how believable I felt like it was.
It was very, yeah.
What was the absolute bottom of the barrel worst part for you?
Oh, boy. I mean, the two prostitutes in his apartment was...
That scene was just
so
awful.
Brutal. And it
because it was
so
like such an explicit
long.
Scene, and then it went into like a murder torture scene.
Yeah. And it was... What, 7 or 8 pages long, I think? I swear it lasted forever.
It lasted a long time.
I think I even, like, skipped some of it, because I'm like, I don't want to hear about this. Like, it's so... No. Nope. Mm-mm. So that was really, really hard.
Oh, yeah, I did have a note going to the Worth Bar TM also about how much of a hypocrite he is also.
Oh, totally.
Because he, like, is... Like, I'm so smart and I'm doing everything perfectly and stuff, but pretty much none of his ideas or interests are actually his own.
No.
It's like his fashion sense and all that. He was just like,
he totally steals
it's because
that.
of a magazine told him to do it.
Can you imagine if that was nowadays, like Pinterest and stuff? Like, I feel like a Bateman would lose his mind.
Music and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing that he does is original or anything that actually came from him and his ideas. So it's like, you're putting yourself at the top, but you actually are not the originator of anything, which is also telling about using the bar.
TM.
But TM. But he was a hypocrite because of that, because it was just like, dude, everyone who is actually making this stuff are the ones who made all the ideas. your whole personality isn't even yours. You're stealing it from everybody else.
Pretty much. It's like Emily Gilmore from the Gilmore Girls. There's a scene that she's just goes to the mall and just buys all of the new high-end stuff. But, like, she just does it because she can.
I had a couple just funny notes also. Just because he was just like, once again, I have to be the top dog, alpha male type thing. I thought it was funny about how many manicures and pedicures he gets just because salon is just stereotypically not in that sphere. So I thought that was kind of funny. Just because he's like, I'm such a man. And then he's just like... Mani-pedi.
Facials. There was a spa scene. I mean, I don't think he like goes into detail, but I think it is glossed over that he like went to a spa and had like a full
Xanax was the other one he took.
Oh, so he was on antidepressants. I took a note
about it. Yeah.
So he was on prescribed Xanax and Valium. That's a great combo. What?
Luis was the gay guy that he couldn't go through with murder. That's the other one too. Like, he might have been actually doing that because Luis remembers it the whole time.
He does, and he keeps trying to like be like, hey.
But that wasn't successful, so he might have never successfully killed anybody.
Just a lot of maiming, I guess. There's torture. There is for sure torture. Because he mentions, like, after the two prostitutes, he's like, well, I can never go back to that. He had a girlfriend
who was also not dead, who remembered that he was abusive and violent.
Yep.
So, but that's abusive and not the complete insanity of murderous that he claims to be. Like I said, they never find bodies and there's no police reports. There's never a follow-up to him. Because at one point...
But he does pick people that wouldn't be noticed, to be fair.
Not the business people.
Well, the private detective was hired.
So it's like, it could be that, where it's just like, and nobody would notice because he was like a homeless dude. But it's like, there'd still be something about like dead bodies being found.
You would think, but it is...
Because he's intentionally looking for it and he never finds it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just question it. I'm not sure.
It's never even entered my brain.
It's not a thing that they confirm or deny, but there's a lot of things that kind of lean to like every single thing, like nobody responding every time he's like, I killed 20 people. I'm a murderous psychopath. And they just... And then it's followed up immediately with like, and they didn't even respond. It's like, then maybe you didn't even say it. It's just he's imagining himself being like saying it. It's like there's things that are confirmed, like when he's talking about serial killers, but that's not him referring to himself and all the crazy things.
Yeah,
it just seems
him every time about Dahmer or whatever.
Yeah, it's like every single time, but it's oriented around himself for some reason. Though it's like, and they don't respond. But if he talks about some other topic about himself, like this is a nice suit, and they're like, yeah,
it's Christian Dior. I just got it yesterday.
I did make a note of the get out of situation card. I've got to return some videotapes. I was saying that I need to use that to get out of situations. Just say, I got to return videotapes. I know.
Anymore.
That's why.
I mean, there's Redbox.
Oh, and he uses steroids.
Does he?
Yeah.
Boy, I never...
So even his body is fake. I took a note of it that he uses steroids. I don't remember
that one. Or I didn't catch it.
So I assume at some point he says that he used steroids.
So he's on all of the stuff. And
even his body is fake.
So I in that
which he flexes on other people with it, you know. Yeah. But he's like, if you just tried to work out, I was like, you're on steroids, dude.
Which I don't know if he's ever on page in the gym. Like, he talks about going to the gym, and I think he goes for swims.
He just tells you that he goes to the gym and works out. I don't think that you have like a scene that takes place in a gym.
I bet you $20 he just hits a treadmill for like 10 minutes and he's like, I went to the gym. Yeah. I feel like that would be me going to the gym. Just to say I went. So in that article I was telling you about, they were talking about like the inspiration for the author, for Bateman. It fits once I heard it. So I don't know why specifically, but apparently he based Bateman off of Tom Cruise.
I don't know anything about Tom Cruise.
He's a little in almost Scientology.
Except for that. I know he's a Scientologist.
He's a little crazy.
Yeah.
But then it's also funny that when they made the movie, Christian Bale based his performance on an interview of Tom Cruise.
Oh, really?
On, I think it was The Late Show or something, because like he was talking about, I think he had just gotten married or something, and they were telling stories, and
he laughed, got that
like,
money.
There was no. He's like, yeah, he's laughing, and you can see the lines, but he's like,
he just seems fake.
There was empty. And like he's like, there's Bateman. I was like, ironic, since the author based him off of Tom Cruise. Like I've heard many rumors about Tom Cruise and his unhingedness, but like...
This is a really... There was another thing that threw me for a loop slightly. So there is one person that he puts himself underneath on the bar of worth. I just remembered. Donald Trump.
Oh, that's right! I totally forgot about that.
I was just like...
I was like, really? That's the one person you look up to?
The one person that Bateman looks up to and was just like...
Almost stalks him, really.
Well, yeah, everything he does... that's a justifier. That's all he needs to like justify like a restaurant or something. Is like somebody's like, do you know Donald Trump ate there? And then he's like, really? I guess we can eat at that restaurant that I've been protesting.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of funny.
Oh, if he owned a building, he'd have to go in the building. Yep. And
he has to go check out anywhere that Trump's been. He has to go.
I totally forgot about that.
And I was just like, it is kind of funny because the exact same spheres of people that look up to Bateman
hate him.
Also, yeah, it's just...
It's like, what?
So that was a weird, funny... I wasn't ready to hear that. I mean, it made sense, especially since at the time it was just like a cultural icon, and I don't know if the TV show was even out at that time.
The TV show didn't even come around. Like, you're talking about the Apprentice?
The Boss or whatever. Yeah, The Apprentice. the Boss.
The Apprentice.
But
that didn't come out until 2000s, I'm pretty sure.
You know, at that point, it's just...
But no, he was just a business tycoon. Like, if he built a golf course, then Bateman had to go golf at it. And, like, yeah, he was like...
Ate at a restaurant, gotta go there.
I've also heard some sketchy things about Phil Collins from Genesis. Like he witnessed a murder and didn't report it. And, I mean, that's totally rumor, but... You never know.
Well, not to get into the politics of anything. It's just
funny.
Food for thought. Kind of funny that at the time that they wrote this, I was like, what's the one person that Patrick Bateman would look up to?
Donald Trump.
And like, oh, Donald Trump. So I was like, cool. Interesting. Do you have any other notes?
I don't think so. I'm very much looking forward to the next book.
I'm looking forward to it after this. Well, okay, so I'm going to get into another thing. So, like, if there was a book that, like, these people in, like, once again, I'm going to touch on the Alpha Bro Sphere thing again. It's just hard not to because I'm just like, this is the poster child for them.
Pretty
literally,
much.
I've seen
the article,
the text, I have seen, like, the pictures of his face with the inspirational, you can achieve anything if you're, just put your mind to it or whatever type of stuff on it. I've seen it before. So... And then I actually read the book and the contents, and now it's even... Like, I thought it was delusional.
Scary.
On the surface, I already thought it was delusional. Like, when I saw it, because, like, isn't that just, like, a psycho killer? Like, obviously, Joker is another one that they throw the quotes on.
Yeah.
All the time, who's also just a psychopath.
Not to be looked up.
But I'm just like, that is complete... Joker is nothing compared to this.
Right. Joker's chaos, and you can depend on the chaos. This guy's just nuts.
Well, it's also Joker just, like, from the one Joker movie, the popular one that's just called Joker.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
That's usually the one that they're using, not, like, supervillain, actual like fighting Batman one. You know? It's that version where there's this whole, like, they throw a somewhat societal commentary in there. But I'm just like, with Bateman, he's just... It's so, like, off the rails horrific. And he's, like, clearly such a miserable person and stuff. I do not remember my original point because it's so easy to get lost in just how...
I don't know. You went back to the
What was I talking about? Why did I go back to the Brosphere thing? I remember there was something I wanted to say about it. Shit. Oh, this was what it was. So, debatable whether or not they read at all, first to begin with. Mm-hmm. But if they were to read a book, I'd imagine it would be like that one. Because they're like, this is the Bateman, man.
Take the cover off and they wouldn't even know it was a psycho.
I was just like, with how explicit the sex scenes, it was also like super cringe.
Yeah.
But I was just like, if this is the stuff you're reading and then you're like making fun of like book talk and like spicy scenes,
yeah.
Like spicy scenes in like popular like women's novels and stuff, I was just like, this is so much worse, dude. It's so much worse. Because I've like seen quotes and it's like, some of it's like laughably funny with the writing and like the...
And if that is what
excerpts.
They aspire to, it's no wonder they don't like
this
romance books. Because, like, this is violent, abusive. Like, this is not what should happen.
No.
It's absolutely not what should happen. Because, oh my gosh, no. And yeah, and then no wonder that they want to like attack like books like Fourth Wing or Akatar, like they have like 3 pages of a spicy scene or whatever, and they're like, oh.
Yeah,
no.
it just exposes
Why? Because it's consensual?
It exposes some hypocrisy, and then also it's just you can see that's just kind of like a flex type thing. Once again, worth bar TM.
They want
to be like, oh, we're gonna put down you and the stuff that you wrote and you're interested in, being like, oh, all these books that these women are interested in, and they're unrealistic spicy scenes, and I'm just like, this is the.
If this is your expectation of a realistic spicy scene, you need...
No, like I said, even just reading the scenes, at no point was I like, I was just like...
No.
I was just saying like...
No, yep, same. At one point I had to stop because I was cooking.
Even just his behavior during it, because once again, it's just like... Because he's just completely obsessed with himself the whole time.
Yeah, there's no.
So
there's
just
nothing
like,
in those scenes that are like, yes, this is the bar, like the TM.
Yeah. Because it's like, even when it comes to like, okay, you're gonna go have sex or whatever, and he's just like, and I'm gonna be super concerned about how I look the whole time. And I'm just like, oh my god, you are unbearable.
Wasn't there even? I'm pretty sure there was a mirror on the ceiling, but wasn't there also one like everywhere?
Something.
So he could like always see himself in certain angles, and I remember like one time was one of the girls on top of him or something. He's like, oh, I look so good in this angle.
Yeah. I know. It's just so pathetic, man. Oh my god.
No, that's why that's stupid. That apartment scene, it lasts so long.
It does. It took so long. I will also give this book one other thing. Just going to how it was written and how horrific it was, which, writing credit to be able to draw that type of emotion for me. During the homeless man one, the black homeless man with the, not the one with the dog. Well, actually, did he have a dog? Did they both have dogs?
Yeah.
Because there was also, I think there was a gay guy who also had a dog. There's 2 separate ones. There's one where like he really brutalized the dog first. It was the homeless guy who was mocking with money.
I think wasn't he an army
That was the
vet?
one that he gouged the eye out.
Yeah.
That whole sequence made my stomach turn.
Oh, yeah. Anytime that he would taunt like that, I just made me want to...
The other sequences were brutal and they were like really gross and they were difficult. That one made my stomach physically like turn. Mm-hmm. And I've never experienced that before.
Really? I feel like there was one other book that kind of made me feel sick like that, but this one was worse.
Not since like when I was like maybe a teenager and I was like starting to like hear things of like some disturbing content and stuff like that, disturbing media stuff.
But that's like, in real life.
Real life things. But like from a fictional book, I've never read a scene, even in like Blood Meridian, there was a couple moments where I was like, oh, that was heavy. But
not anymore.
Nothing like that. That made me want to just put down the book.
Yep.
And be like, holy shit. I just want to go.
There were many times I told repeatedly, I'd be complaining about this book, and I'd be like, I want to DNF this. If it wasn't for the podcast, I would DNF this. Like, I don't want to anymore.
Here's another just huge criticism of it, I guess, and that was it could have been like a quarter of its size, because
so much
after like the first killing, there's no point to the book, if you ask me. Afterwards, it's just like fan service beyond the first killing.
And him just slowly slipping more into madness. Like, all of the... Like, I'm pretty sure there was at least 3 or 4 chapters.
Here's another weird one. When he kills a kid at the zoo...
I don't remember this one.
He kills a kid at the zoo, and then apparently the crowd reacts to it, and he pretends to be a doctor so that he can feel his, like, life slip away and stare at his eyes. He's lying about being a doctor, and eventually he gets, like, removed from the scene. At all. But, like, nothing comes of that, and he just lied about being a doctor and stuff. He would be, like, the #1 suspect. Nothing happens out of it from it. So that's another thing that was just, like, are you just going on, like, full-on delusional, like, psychosis trips? Is that what's happening? Because I was just, like, it does not make any sense how there wouldn't be any follow-ups or anything.
Other than the
from that one, because he was, like, right there.
Boy,
and there's crowds of people and stuff. I think it was in a zoo. I do think that a majority of everything that he does is a delusion, and it's just in his mind, and he can't tell the difference.
I mean,
And the further into it he goes, the less and less he can differentiate.
But also at the time, like, how long did it take for, like, Jeffrey Dahmer to get caught? Or any of the other serial killers? Like, it would take decades in some cases before they would catch somebody.
The news article stuff is the stuff that makes me believe it the most, because it never gets brought up. And he, like I said, by the end, for his most, like, his final kills, it tells him that he's, like, looking for news reports of all the people he killed and stuff, and they just don't show up.
They never showed.
And it's like he's kind of fetching for notoriety, and it just never happens. Like, he wants to be a notorious serial killer, but nothing ever happens, which leads me to believe that he's never actually killed anyone.
Sure. That might make me feel a little better if it was all in his head. Maybe. I don't know.
Like I said, I don't know. That last person he definitely didn't kill. The people in the apartment he definitely didn't kill. Mm-hmm. Unless it's like a cover-up, but like, why would it be a cover-up?
Right. Like as soon as the realtor saw that it was empty or whatever, the smell alone, because he was hiding body parts all over in that place.
Yeah. McDermott. That was the apartment. I think it was McDermott.
I have no idea.
I don't know why that name just popped into my head. See, that was one of the characters. I think that was the one.
I couldn't begin to tell you any of their names.
But, like I said, he's definitely a not reliable author at the very least, because his
narrator.
Narrator. But his perception of reality is definitely skewed.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I mean, even if it is all legit, his perception...
It doesn't make it any less terrible.
Right.
Because that would kind of just lead to that, like, he would.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. He definitely would do the things he wants to do.
Mm-hmm. It's like, or it's just a prelude to him actually doing the stuff eventually.
Doesn't do it, though, because then who could he brag to? Like, his friends are, like, his little group thing, and be like, yeah, I killed Cindy in this manner, or whatever, be impressed, or, you know. But if they're all dead, then who's he gonna brag to?
Right. Yeah, I might have even, like, rated it higher if it would have ended at, like, 100 pages in.
It could have easily. There's no reason.
There's no reason.
It's almost 400 pages, isn't it?
Spare yourself. Don't. Yeah, it's
399.
399, really damn close. But it's like,
there's no reason it needed to be that long.
Like I said, after the first murder, it's like you kind of get what it's all about. It's like, okay, so it just goes on to he uses the bar TM in a bunch of different circumstances, does some drugs, and then murders somebody. Wash, rinse, repeat. That's the whole book. It doesn't lead anywhere. It doesn't end anywhere. The only new tidbit you get is by the end, where it brings up a question that he might be delusional about all of it, and whether or not any of it's actually happening. At least that's the only thing that I drew from it by the end.
I honestly think it was just... I mean, I can't imagine the author...
It doesn't really affect the point.
Could you imagine, like, I think we said this before, writing this and how... I feel like it was a way, too, to just, like, everyone in the 80s... Like, the rumor is everyone in the 80s was always on a drug. Like...
Well, it does address a lot of that stuff, because, like, the drugs are present everywhere. And everyone
they're
was
all
doing cocaine.
Doing it. Yeah.
And he has got, like, legal drugs, too, on top of it.
It could have been just the author's way of, you know, exposing it more, even though everyone already knew it was happening.
I do think
I still don't understand, like, why he wrote it, and then the publisher was like, yes. And then somebody was like, let's do a movie off of this. Like, why?
I do think it's an extreme, like, commentary on, like, the whole corporate culture thing and how maddening it is, too.
It hurts my brain, and I'm really glad it's all done.
Like, the whole culture around him even encourages his behaviors.
Right.
So yeah, I think like, that's kind of like...
you don't need a facial this week. It's fine.
If there was to be, like, a point to it, that would probably be as, like, just cautionary tale type thing. Kind of like Blood Meridian. Cautionary tale about how bad things can be.
Yeah, but the cautionary tale is, you know, don't listen to the devil in that one. This cautionary tale is... Don't go into the stock market? What?
The cautionary tale in Blood Meridian was look at what can happen if you let, like, stuff like prejudice be unchecked and whatnot. Because, like, the whole driving events of all, like, obviously, like, the devil within the judge is, like, there and present. But it's, like, that's more of just a character that represents all the evil that people are doing. And he's just like, and that's a good thing.
That's fine.
And he feels the same way. He's just like, he looks at all the evil that both he does and other people do, all the like Jeffrey Dahmer and all them.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, and they're good things. They're his idols. Plus Donald Trump.
And Phil Collins.
That's right. He really likes Phil Collins too.
Really?
It's just so weird who he's obsessed with.
Blood Meridian. Really glad to be done with that. Mm-hmm. On to the next.
I'd say good riddance. It definitely belongs in hell. Miserable read.
Oh, it was just like, if you guys want to torture yourselves, please read this.
There's just no point to reading beyond the first quarter.
Yeah, you
get to the first murder, have your stomach turn, and be like, oh, and psychopath, human culture, like bad corporate culture, yada yada yada, and don't use the bar.
TM.
Then you've extracted all the value from it. That is possible to be valued.
It's a rough book.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like psychiatrists, like in school, would have a field day, which I'm sure they have. Like, if you're in a
psychologist should absolutely read that.
Right, that should be required reading and be like, this is how you mark a psychopath.
Mm-hmm. Psychologists and therapists should read that.
I'm sure it is probably. I would hope be some sort of required reading. Mm-hmm. Maybe. I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in higher learning. It is quite
an intense, as far as like the actual writing of it, how deeply they dive into the personality of the guy.
Yeah, they do. Again,
that is the peak element of it is just how much detail is in his character and his personality. But like it just doesn't justify how long the book is, in my opinion. I found myself once again. This happens fairly frequently. I'm just like, I just want it to be ending sooner. I'm just like, this is just going on too long.
We've had a lot of the books.
Looping behaviors annoys the hell out of me.
And I seem like that's pretty much all we're reading lately. Well, we can't really count Harry Potter, but that was
Harry Potter wasn't. So I'll give honestly, Harry Potter is the best book that we've read,
which is so sad.
Yeah.
I mean, not knocking on Harry Potter, but like there are better books out there than Harry Potter. Yeah. I don't understand why that book is still in such a spotlight and it still gets so much light, I guess, when so many other things could be talked about. It is crazy.
It was definitely the most enjoyable read out of them, even though I did get bored in the middle of that one too.
It was just a reread.
I think,
and it wasn't even that fun of a reread.
I haven't listened to one of the books yet that I haven't just gotten bored at some point and been like, I just want this to be done now.
My goal now, I'm like, one book at least we do this year we have to get one into heaven. Like,
gotta get one done.
Just one. That's my new personal goal.
We'll see the next one.
I have a list.
Hey, we'll get to it eventually for sure. Like, I'm no doubt it will happen. It's just when.
We'll be doing this 15 years later.
What will be the first one?
I found one.
Yeah.
This one was actually good. No, there are very good books.
There's supposed to be next to nothing that ends up on that shelf anyway. That's by design, if anyone's watching. Almost nothing is supposed to end up in the heaven shelf.
But I want one. I want at least one.
Yeah.
Just one.
At least get one into purgatory. Come on. I feel like it... Actually, I'm just going to throw a hot take out here. It's going to be harder to get something into purgatory than heaven.
Probably.
I think at some point...
Honestly, Harry Potter was pretty close. Though.
It was pretty close. Well, here's the funny thing about that is like it had two chances because we were both kind of bouncing on where exactly to make the judgment call on, and we just ended up being on the opposite ends of that.
It was very close.
So, I think that's all we have to say for this one. Look at that. We only went for an hour and a half this time. It's not over 2 hours, so hallelujah for me for editing.
For sure, I was like, this is going to be 4 hours.
Well, in hindsight... Like, I guess there wasn't as much to say because of how little variation of content there was in the book.
There wasn't.
It's slurs, measuring yourself in the financial value of everything that you have and everybody else, and just constant comparison of, like...
And name dropping of all of the brands. So
many brand name dropping.
I feel
it did give you a sense, because, it's like, it is the type of person, it's like, oh yeah, that would be the type of person who's just, like, cares about the brand of their watch to such an intense degree. That they're like, don't you know that this watch is worth more than your life? It's like, yeah, you are the type of person who would.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I think this is my second worst book of the year so far.
Second worst?
I read a Kindle book that was just awful.
Oh, okay.
But it's the first, that is, yeah. Oh, it was my first 1 star of the year.
Damn.
I've read 53 books so far as of filming. That will probably change in a couple of days. But as of right now, that is definitely, for the books that I own, that is the worst.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's a lie. Anna Karenina will always be the...
I feel like that's a hot take for a lot of people. But maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's polarizing. I've never read it, so I don't know.
I have been banned from talking about that book, so this is the only time...
It's the worst book and you know it! No.
If there's one specific person, if she's watching this, I'm right.
Wow. Wonder who that could be. If that's all the thoughts that you have for it, so I guess we can do a little bit of an outro. I think I'm empty of all thoughts
of that stupid book.
Yeah, hallelujah.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I'll be so glad to be just done with that piece of shit. I'm so glad it's burning in hell right now.
Real.
If there was a book that I've ever been happy about sending to hell, it's that one. Like, I wasn't necessarily even inherently just happy to send Blood Meridian to hell, because there was elements of it that I thought were really cool idea-wise, and I also really liked the setting of the whole, like, brutal Western cowboy stuff going on. But this thing, I'm just like, good riddance.
It doesn't...
Damn, I was like, I'm tempted to actually burn the book.
Just let it go.
Just because, like, I don't even want it on
That'd
my
be
shelf.
like an apocalypse one, you know, where there was like, you need to burn something.
You need to burn one, you can go ahead and burn
everyone keeps that one book. I keep Anna Karenina literally in case I have to burn it.
Oh, man.
I hate that so much.
If you enjoyed the video, please smash like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. Share the video with a family member or a friend. That helps more than anything. Let us know what you thought about American Psycho if you read it. Give us a recommendation for reads in the future if you have any. It will definitely be taken into consideration. Our next one is already chose. I've actually decided this is, and I'm
Are you changing
executive
it on me?
order.
I already read it.
No, I'm not changing it. Oh. But I made the decision that we should just announce the next book at the end, because that just lets people
build up for the next one.
It just lets people anticipate the next one. So, ACOTAR! Which, a court of thrones and thorns and roses.
A court of thorns and roses.
A court of thorns and roses.
Sarah J. Maas.
Sarah J. Maas.
And it's their
We're reading
10th
it.
anniversary was last week.
10th anniversary. Gonna read it. I'm looking forward to it. Just because I've heard so much about it.
Is this your favorite? Yeah, this is like your first like romantasy.
Yep. Never.
This is gonna be so fun.
It would be the first romance novel I read at all.
Oh, we can't call this romance.
Whatever.
Romancy. It's a
Is romance a direct, like, it's a direct, like,
it's basically the creator. No, it's not a plot point.
Oh, okay.
Well, we will get into the drama of that genre when we get to it.
But that will be a good one. Be sure to tune in for when, and you have to find out, where does ACOTAR go? Will it go to the shelf of glory, or will it go to hell or purgatory, I guess? What are the odds?
Right now, statistically, not good.
Yeah, statistically not good. So far, 100% of books are burning in hell. But I'm specifically going to make... I'm very tempted. I'll see how ambitious I am in editing. I might make a special circle of hell that just shows that even deep down further than all the other ones. Like, those ones are like kind of burning up on the first
Yeah, there's like
hell.
levels, aren't there?
Yeah, if you go by Dante's, which, by the way, at some point we do have to do Dante's Inferno and stuff.
Oh, I read that very long time ago. That was a lot.
The Divine Comedy has to be judged, for sure.
Are we just doing Inferno, though? Or are we doing, like, Inferno, Purgatory?
We can do them all separately, because I think it'll take some time to read them, because it'll be difficult to read them.
They are. I've only read Inferno, but, like, that took me 2 weeks to read it.
We might have different opinions on each individual one anyway. I'm not going to, like, judge stuff based on, like, a trilogy or whatever. Can you call that a trilogy? The Divine Comedy, is it a trilogy, you guys? Let us know in the comments. It's the original trilogy!
I have no idea. I don't... yes, we're going to call it a trilogy.
We're just going to call it the trilogy. So, with that, hope you have an excellent day, night, whatever time you're watching this. Bye-bye!